the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away and show us where we are? What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder. How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's gray outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. How come the trees get undressed when it's cold? And don't they miss the leaves they left behind? Could it be to make the ground shine like gold until winter comes? Until winter comes, until winter comes. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. Stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away and show us where we are. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder. Ooh, I just wonder.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Baseline Farms. My name is Jade. So it has been a while since I have given a garden tour and so much stuff has been happening. So today is Saturday, November 2nd, I believe, daylight savings. So I guess tonight we fall back an hour, right? I think so. So yeah, fall. I love fall. So, oh my gosh, I forgot what date was. What day is it? Oh my gosh, you guys, it is not the 2nd, it is November 4th. Yeah, okay, so I'm a little bit off on my time. So today is November 4th, Saturday, I know that. So many things have been happening. So we did have our Halloween party, a little Halloween festivities. And this cat, oh my goodness, he's so needy. Look at this. Look at, he's so sweet. My little sidekick. You know, I haven't really named the cat. No. I take that back, because if John sees it, he's going to be like, no, we named the cat. So this kitty, his name is Raider, and because he raided our barn. I don't even know why John picked the name, so we just kind of been keeping with it. But he's just the sweetest little guy. And but let me just share with you what is happening in the garden. So this garden bed right here, this is the garden bed that we just planted not too long ago. And we put some beets, some turnips, and some broccoli in this garden bed. And so many things are popping up. I see a bunch of broccoli popping up. I do see some beets, or is this the turnips? You know, I forgot to make tags. I completely forgot to make tags for this garden bed, so I'm not even too sure. But I know once it pops up, I'm gonna know by the leaf what it is. But right now, I have no idea. And then I have some little grasses in the middle that I'm afraid to pull out because I don't know if those are seedlings or not. So we're about to find out what I planted in this garden bed. I should have put some tags in there, but I didn't. But let me share with you what has been happening in the garden. So many things. I want to get this weed before it takes over. What has been happening? What's been growing? Oh my goodness. Okay, kitty. All right, it's time. So what has been growing and everything like that. So many tomatoes have been still growing and ripening. And I have been doing a bunch of stewed tomatoes, and now I need to start doing some spaghetti sauce because I have so many tomatoes. Matter of fact, right before I was about to do this garden vlog, I went to go and check on some of the tomatoes, some of the beefsteak tomatoes, and some of them are blushing and they look so delicious. I have a bunch of them in the house ripening up. So yeah, the weather, we haven't really had a frost yet. We did have a couple mornings that were like at 39 degrees, but it's so chilly still, but not cold enough to start a fire or anything like that. But cold enough to wear a beanie in the morning, to wear a little hat in the morning to cover my ears, and cold enough to still be able to wear a thermal all day. So yeah, the weather is cooling down and I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm so excited. So I have some dough going inside the kitchen. Actually, I just fed our sourdough starter Otis, so I just fed him. So tonight I'm gonna start some bread, and I love this weather because now I'm gonna make those little pumpkin-shaped sourdough loaves for gifts and things like that. So I cannot wait. But let me go and show you what is happening in the garden, what is going on in this garden bed behind me. Look at that. I haven't torn out any of the tomatoes. Matter of fact, the tomatoes that I grew from seed are like, not seed, but another succession, like a fall, I called it my fall succession of seeds, are growing more tomatoes. It's just nuts. But let me show you what's happening in this garden bed. All right, so over here in this garden bed, this is where I have a bunch of shishito peppers. So many shishito peppers. You guys, one plant would have been sufficient enough. So many shishito peppers. I don't even know what to do with all of them. I've allowed so many of them to ripen on the tree, which I feel is such a waste. I do give them to the chickens, and I've been giving these away because I have so many. I have shishito peppers in this bed. I have shishito peppers in the other bed. I did not realize how many peppers I was going to get. I had no clue. And so one shishito pepper would have been plenty. Now, I don't know if there's a market for these shishito peppers because I've been trying to give them away, and people are like telling me that they're full on shishito peppers. So that to me tells me there might not be a big market for them. So that's how the shishito peppers are doing. Let me give you a really good look at how all these peppers are doing. And I just love them. I mean, I still eat them. They're still super sweet. I just have so many of them. And not only in this bed, but in the other bed as well. And then I have some holy basil in here, which I've allowed a lot of it to go to seed. And then next year, I'm not going to plant it like this because this was really hard for me to harvest. I should have planted the holy basil somewhere in the corner. I don't know what I was thinking when I was planting the holy basil, but that is how it's turning out. So let me show you a really good view of how everything is doing. Oh, I just noticed we have a purple bell pepper. I do love the purple bell pepper. I think next year I'm going to grow it from seed because these are the ones that I bought from the nursery. And yes, they have produced quite a bit of bell pepper. But I think I'm going to try some from seed, and I think I'm only going to need like maybe one or two. I only have two, so that was plenty. But let me show you, give you a really good look of how everything's doing. All right, look at that. Look at all those shishito peppers. And you can still eat them when they're red, but I believe you could dry them like this and store them. I'm sure if I dry them, I have to take them off the plant, obviously, but that's how the shishito peppers are doing. This was a bell pepper that didn't really produce that many. Oh, is that a bell pepper? Yeah, this is a bell pepper plant that didn't really produce that many bell peppers, and I'm not too sure why. Here is a purple bell pepper, and since the weather has been cooling down, I have been seeing a lot of bell peppers on here. Like, look at this little flower here. And these are so delicious and so pretty. And then I have this cayenne pepper. And you guys, I have so much cayenne pepper that one plant would have been perfect. Not two. I have two of them. And then here's another purple bell pepper. Look at this little Cute little bell pepper. Oh, it's so vibrant and so pretty. And then in between, there's that holy basil down in there. You can see that's a tomato leaf, but yeah, that's all holy basil. And so, yeah, I would let it go to seed. I'm probably gonna get some holy basil next year, which we'll see. And we'll figure out what we're gonna plant in the bed in the springtime, which is kind of crazy that it's finally over. It's weird that I know that the weather is gonna be cooling down, and I know it's gonna be soon where I'm gonna have to take out these tomatoes. And that's kind of like sad, you know, because look at all these tomatoes that they're producing. Look at that. And they're still so delicious. And I have not been cutting off any of the suckers or anything like that. It has literally have gone wild. Like, you can't even barely move. I don't know if you could see that, but you can barely move. But let me show you how these are the San Marzano Roma tomatoes. And I believe these were by Johnny Selected Seeds. And they're loaded. Like, this one has a little bit of bottom rot because, oh my goodness, you guys, we did have some super cold weather. We had rain. The rain was just pouring down. And yeah, it's just been so good. The weather's been so nuts, but today has been really nice. And so I've been out here just kind of hanging out in the garden. I need to preserve a bunch of tomatoes that are sitting on the counter right now. And yeah, I just need to do a bunch of inside chores, but I love being outside. So look at these tomatoes. So pretty. So a lot of them are blushing. Like some of them, I picked a whole bunch of them, and they are on the counter and they are now ready to make some salsa or things like that. But I have been stewing a lot of tomatoes, so that is so awesome because these tomatoes, I was 2 weeks behind when I started my seeds, and so that's probably why I still have a bunch of tomatoes. And then I decided to plant more tomato seeds for the fall because I don't know why. But this is how the San Marzanos are doing. Amazing. So let me share with you what is growing in the other garden beds. Man, I cannot even believe it's already in November and that we are going to be, you know, like into Thanksgiving and the holidays. Yeah, but I do love getting up with the sun because right now when we get up in the morning, it's still so dark out that I prefer to get up when the sun is out and about, you know? Okay, so here in this garden bed, this is a garden bed that we started a bunch of spinach. So I see a bunch of spinach popping up. Let me give you a really close-up view. Oh, little guy, no. Okay, so let me give you a really close-up view. All right, so we have some spinach right there. And so we have, ooh, my finger's stuck. Okay, so we have 2 rows of spinach right in there. And then we have 2 rows of garlic. So I just started another row of garlic because for some reason, I thought I planted garlic in that row. And then I realized I didn't because I didn't have enough. So I was able to, I found some more of the garlic that I grew last year. So I ended up putting some right here in the beginning. But now I need to go get more so I could finish it up over here at the end. And I don't think it's too late to plant garlic. So all the garlic is popping up. And then on the other side, I have my carrots, and all of the carrots are popping up as well. So that is really awesome. Everything is doing so good in this garden bed. Everything's, you know, just doing really great. So I think I'm going to pop in, I could probably pop in some more spinach because, you know, I just want a big mound of spinach so that we could go nuts with it. Now, over here we have our bronze torch, and my goodness, look at that. Look at those. Amazing. So many. I'm just loving it. They're so good. I just canned a bunch of these for some stewed, some diced tomatoes. And with my diced tomatoes, all I do is I put them in the jar. Sometimes I put some garlic in it and some onions, and then I just can them. That's it. I put a little bit of vinegar in there for preserving, and I put them in the canner, water bath canner. So look at that. Oh, I just noticed this. Look at that. Already blushing. How beautiful. They look so good. Now on the other side we have our beans. These are some garden beans that I got from Burpees. And they're doing so well. I am so pleased at how these garden beans are doing. I have I have gotten so many. I've picked so many garden beans off of these. And yeah, I think these garden beans definitely need a nice thick full trellis, and maybe next year I might put these garden beans on the trellis now that I know how they perform. My gosh, amazing. And they're so sweet, just right off the vine. They're delicious. And then in the front of this garden bed, we have strawberries. And I am still picking strawberries, and look at all this crabgrass. This crabgrass, oh my gosh, I just cannot get rid of it. But so many strawberries I have picked. Early in the morning, I'll just come out here and pick them and eat them, because we've been cleaning up so much around the property, and the property looks so nice. But let me share with you what is happening with these tomatoes and strawberries behind me. Okay, so over here we have our, I believe these are by botanical interest, and I'm not even too sure what the variety is because I did not label them correctly. But look at that. Amazing. So I planted these kind of later in the season. I did not prune them because I thought this was going to be a bush variety. And I mean, I just put these little sticks in here, these bamboo sticks, and that is what's propping it up. But that is how they're doing. And I did I did get enough where I was able to dice them up and make some stewed tomatoes with those. So that was really good. And yeah, there's still a ton more. And then, oh my goodness, right over here, we have a ton of strawberries. And they have just been producing runners. So I just been popping the runners here and there. And then we have another tomato bush right there popping up. But that is how the garden bed is doing. So good. Because my goal is to make this little bed the strawberry patch, or the little strawberry bed where I have a bunch of strawberries in there. So I think that would be so awesome. Now we have our Jerusalem artichokes, which I hope this year I dig out all these artichokes, because that is all that is growing in this bed right now is Jerusalem artichokes. They are dying out. The flowers have died out. That once the stalk dies out, that's when it's a good time to harvest it. But what I have been doing research on is says that you just leave the Jerusalem artichokes. It's like a root. It looks like a ginger kind of, kind of same color, but it tastes like a water chestnut to me. And you just leave it in the ground, and when you're ready to eat it, that's when you harvest it. So that's my research. So in the beginning in this garden bed, I had so many things growing. I had turnips, I had spinach, I had artichokes, I had carrots, marigolds, nasturtiums, like so many things. But right now, because of these Jerusalem artichokes, all I have is Jerusalem artichokes and these marigolds. That's it. So yeah, hopefully I get to dig them all out. And then behind the Jerusalem artichokes, right here, if you could see that one with these guys, oh my god, it's like a jungle, is my lemongrass. Doing so good. I love it. I love it. So what I do with the lemongrass, because this was the first time, I think my dad gave it to me, and I popped it into this container, and last year I gave it a kind of a good haircut and like a good trimming, because I was just learning how to trim up bushes. I'm still not very good at it, but yeah, I trimmed it up. It looked super ugly. I didn't know if it was going to come back, and it did, and it came back way better. So I don't know, I might trim it up again, but maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Okay, it's so bright out here, but I know the sun is going down. So over here we have our what are these? Basil. These are the basils that I picked up from a supermarket, and I don't know if they're a mismark, but I got them for $1.50. I got 3 of them, and we did have some weather that was like 39 degrees, so then some of the stuff did not do very well. And then I noticed that we have a bunch of these little white flies all over the place, and I know I'm not the only one because I see them at job sites and things like that. So I haven't sprayed anything, because once the weather starts to get cooler, a lot of these insects start to die. So if I can not spray anything, if I could prevent myself from spraying anything, which the only thing I do use in the garden is the neem oil. In the very beginning, when I first started gardening, I was using like Captain Jack, all organic, but I kind of steered away from that and started using all natural things like neem oil or just water. So those are the 2 things that I do use. I have used some ant poison on the outside of the garden beds and some snail bait, and that's pretty much it. But as far as any kind of sprays, I try to stay away from that. And if I spray anything, it's usually neem oil, and it's only if it's really, really bad and if I know that it can be saved, like a perennial or something like that. If it's an annual and I can just grow it from seed, most of the times I kind of just pull out the problem. So that is what I'm learning, and that is what I have been doing. So these plants, I know they're gonna die out in the cold weather, and I do pick out some of the leaves here and there and use them in dishes because there's still a lot of good, good green basil I could use. But I have made my share of pesto, and it is so stinking good. So that is how the basil is doing. And now on the other side, let me show you how these Roma tomatoes are doing. But first, look at the blackberry. No blackberries, nothing but a lot of green foliage, so that's good. But I cannot wait till I get some blackberries. That's gonna be so nice. All right, so over here in this garden bed, we have a bunch of Roma tomatoes. Matter of fact, look at that. My goodness, this kitty. Look at all those Roma tomatoes. So this is how the Roma tomatoes are doing. And at first I was thinking, oh my goodness, how come these Roma tomatoes aren't producing anything? Well, I am wrong because I harvested so many Roma tomatoes from this batch, and look, I could still go through, harvest them. And then I don't know how bronze torch got over here, but I have some bronze torches growing. Do you see that? Right in here. My goodness, I didn't realize how many tomatoes I had. And then yesterday I was in here and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna pop in some beans. So I popped in some super snappy peas on the sides here because I know those are cold tolerant. So I hope we get some peas because I have planted those before and they did so good. Okay, so here is some more basil. Look at that. Still looking good, but a little frost damage. But we didn't get a frost. It was just super cold, 39 degrees. So it was probably a shock. They weren't used to it. So that is how the basil is doing, And then over here, I planted in some turnips and what else? I think some broccoli. Ooh, I think I forgot. I did. I planted some broccoli and some turnips right there in that spot. And if I'm wrong, we're about to find out because I was just planting stuff left and right in all kinds of open spots. Now over here we have our raspberry bush, and our raspberry bush, this is how it's looking. I know this is gonna go dormant over the winter time, I believe, because I don't think this is frost tolerant. And so this is how it's doing. I haven't really picked that many raspberries off of this plant, but I have hope. And I'm going to take care of it, and hopefully we get some raspberries, and I bet you when we get them, they're going to be the most delicious raspberries I've ever tasted. That's my goal. Okay, so over here we have our Cherry Falls by Botanical Interest. Yes, Botanical Interest. Oh my goodness, so sweet. I love these tomatoes. Now these are the tomatoes that I started from seed, and I planted here in the garden. I wasn't sure if we were gonna have some super cold weather or if these were gonna even grow, and they did. So now I know that I could plant some more tomatoes. Not that I need it anymore, but now that I know if I'm late, I could plant some more tomatoes. And these sun golds, so sweet. And so in abundance. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So many of them. And yeah, I have been giving these away nonstop and eating them. I've been eating them left and right. So I get my fill of these sun golds. So that is how, my God, that was a juicy one. That is how the sun golds are doing. Fantastic. Now over here we have some more Cherry Falls that are not looking too hot. They're really not looking good, and I am going to start ripping some of this stuff out, and that sounds horrible. I'm probably just going to start removing some of this stuff, ripping some of this stuff. After an abundance they gave me, I'm not going to rip them out. I'm just going to remove them gently. So this is how the garlic, this is where I planted all the garlic, and then in between the garlic, not only do we have some weeds, but we have some cute little Johnny Pop-Ups or Johnny Jump-Ups, the little penny violas. And so those are going to be so cute. So we have a whole bunch of them in here. So I'm really hoping that this whole garden bed gets a bunch of little flowers in there. And then the dahlia is dying out. Matter of fact, I should clip that off. That's looking pretty sad. And look at that. But yeah, that is how this garden bed is doing. And then here is the eggplant. So much eggplant. So this is the garden bed that I just finished, and I just finished the irrigation on this one just the other day. And so I am so excited because look at that. I have it running right now, and I just kind of dampened it with the hose. So I'm going to start planting some seeds in this garden bed, and my goal is probably planting some onions, some more carrots. It's maybe one row of turnips. That's a lot of turnips, but they'll pop up at different times, and a row of spinach because I love spinach. So that is what I'm going to have planned in this garden bed, and I'm definitely going to make some tags for this. But let me show you how the Myers lemon is doing. Right here. That's it. That's how it's doing. No lemons. I swear one of these days, guys. One of these days I cannot wait to get some lemons. Okay, here, over here. This is so amazing. Look at these tomatoes. Look at that. Oh, hopefully I don't drop it. Look at that, it's already blushing. I'm gonna have to pull this one in. So there are so many tomatoes over here. Let me give you a really good look at how these tomatoes are doing. Look at those tomatoes. Now I did notice some that are blushing, like right here. There's one right there. Do you see that? That's starting to ripen up. There's a few of them. There's one right up in there that's starting to ripen up. So over here, there's a mixture of pink Berkeley, why can I say that? Pink Berkeleys right here on this side. Oh no, yeah, right here on this side, and then the purple Cherokees on this side. And so they're the purple Cherokees are now starting to grow over, so they're all kind of intertwined onto this side. And you can barely walk through because there's so many tomatoes. Look at that. Do you see that? Oh my goodness, you guys. Look at that. Beautiful. And then I have a bunch of peppers over here that I did not, put up, or like I did not put any kind of stakes or cages around them. And so these are some barren peppers. Now I'm not even too sure the names of all of them because I lost the tags when I was transplanting them. I don't know what happened, but I mismarked them. So we have a bunch of hot peppers, bell peppers, barren peppers, red rockets, just so many different shishito peppers, hot shishito peppers, mild shishito peppers, so many. So next year, if I plant any peppers, I'm definitely going to plant them in designated areas. Look at that pepper. I believe this is a barren pepper, and I think this is a hot one. So I'm definitely going to plant all the spicy peppers in one side, and then all the mild peppers on the other side. Now, look at these 5 stars. You guys. Oh my goodness. If any of my friends see this video, if you guys want some tomatoes, please just give me a call. Just give me a call. And if I still have some on the vine, you are welcome to them. Look at those. Amazing. Because I am going to pull these vines out, these 5-star tomatoes. But next year, I'm definitely going to plant these 5-star tomatoes again. All right, so over here we have some garlic, and the garlic is looking really good. And yeah, I'm just loving it. So look at, I don't know if the camera, if you can see all these little white flies flying all over the place, but I do have some dahlias right over here on this side that are starting to bloom or blossom soon. But this is how the garlic is doing. The garlic is doing so good, and I cannot wait to harvest some of this garlic. That's going to be so exciting. I cannot wait. I love homegrown garlic. It is so delicious. And I think, is that everything? Ooh, I got a splinter. So yeah, that is how the garden's doing. We are going to be getting ready for some holiday stuff and doing some plantings. And look at these. I have to show you these beautiful pink grasses. Aren't those so beautiful? These were my favorite. When we first started getting into landscaping, I remember I just wanted to plant these. These are called pink mully grass. And I just wanted to plant these pink mullies everywhere. And now I see them all over in the landscape. And look how beautiful that is. So whimsical. They're so pretty. So, and these are seedless. So that's awesome. So they're not going to seed all over the place, because you can get perennials for your garden so without seeds, so that way they don't plant seeds everywhere in places that you don't want them to be in. So that is how the big garden is growing. Everything's doing so fantastic and doing so well. And now, let's see, I'm hoping that I took a bunch of pictures at the Halloween when we had our Halloween party, and I hope I could transfer it from my phone. So I'm hoping that I'm able to pop them into this video so you could see. It turned out so good, because our friend's the one that brought in all the props and things like that, and yeah, so it was so much fun. But here are the chickens. Oh, can you see them? They're there all over the place. Right now they're out and about roaming around, so but the chickens are doing fantastic. And then I got these little containers. Let me actually go in there so I can show you what I put into the chicken run for their food. So before I was just, throwing their food all over the place and letting them scratch for it. But then I realized like I was wasting so much food because the wild birds would come out and eat them. And yes, the wild birds could come out and they could, just sit in the little bowl, like a little feeding area, and eat the food. But because it's in a place where they don't feel safe, they don't do it. But yeah, so here is their grain that I bought. I bought these little buckets right here. And yeah, I just put all of their feed in these little buckets, and they kind of scratch through it. And then that way it's not a lot of waste, and I could see how much they're eating. And yeah, my chickens are very spoiled because I mixed their feed with some black oil sunflower seeds, and I put some like chicken crumble along with some mealworms and things like that. So I kind of mixed up their own little batch of food, and I put it into their buckets. And then the ducks are the orange, and they actually know. I mean, in the morning time they're so hungry, so they just eat wherever, but the ducks usually kind of eventually get to their little area. So I have a little water and some duck food for them. So that is how the chickens are doing. They're doing so good. And these ducks do not want to go into the pond at all, and they do not want to sleep outside either. So now, because I let them sleep outside one time, and then now they go to bed when the chickens go to bed. They're like, heck no, we do not want to be outside. Because I thought, oh good, I'm going to train them to be outside and, not in the chicken coop area. No, that does not work. Now they're go to bed early. But I have cleaned out the chicken coop. I'll give you a little peek of what it looks like. Sorry if it's a hot mess. I just cleaned it, but the ducks are so dirty. So here is their chicken coop. So now for the winter time, I put some nice grass bedding in there, and I put it in their beds because they really like it. And they do scratch it out, but I do have more, and I do put it in there. So, and as long as it stays on the ground for the ducks, it's a good form of bedding for them so that they could be nice and warm at night. So that is what's happening with the chickens and the ducks and the dog. And the Bella's now back in her stall, which she was not too happy about that. And so she wanted to eat that grain. So yeah, now she's back in her stall. And then, oh, the little garden. Nothing's happening in the little garden at all. Yeah, this is it. Nothing, just the eggplant right there that looks so sad, and the raspberry. Yeah, the raspberry bush right there, doing so well. I don't know if you could see that one. So yeah, I did not get any pumpkins, and then I'm gonna move this prop as soon as I get the gingerbread house in the garden. I hope that comes one of these days. It's at a shopping center, so John has to go and pick it up for me, but we just haven't had any time. So my goal eventually is to, prop this up over there by the gingerbread house. And then in this garden bed, I think I'm going to pull up these two garden beds right here and make this into my little cut flower garden. So that's my goal. I'm probably going to keep the front garden bed because we have that eggplant growing right there. I mean, I could probably just take it out when it dies out and just make this whole thing my cut flower garden, because I thought that would look so sweet if you just drive up onto the property and you have a bunch of, hey, Hank, that's enough. Hank's chasing after the chickens. He's trying to corral them into the chicken coop and they're in the wrong spot. Hey buddy, come here. All right, so that is what's happening in the small garden. We have cleaned up so much around the property, and yeah, the Halloween party was so much fun. So I'll see if I could pop in some clips or some pictures or something like that. And yeah, that is what's happening on the farm. So thank you for watching. Take care, be safe, and I will see you in the next video. And maybe I will plant some, I'll take you on and I'll do a little video when I start planting in that new garden bed that I just did the drip on. So yeah, and then there's the ducks. So sweet. But they still don't let me pick them up and pet them. Like they're trying to get the chicken inside. They're like, come on chicken, get inside. So sweet. So they're all buddies now. But that is what's happening on the farm. So everything's going really well. The pond is getting fuller. We had a really good rain, so the pond is super full right now. Well, not super full, but getting there. It's getting there. And yeah, everything's still growing. So take care, be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.